Have you ever stopped to wonder how your brain actually holds on to everything you know? I mean, it's not just a big pile of facts, right? It's this hidden, incredibly complex web of meaning. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that stunning architecture, and we're going to kick things off with a little puzzle.
All right, here we go. A quick little brain teaser for you. What is king minus man plus woman? Let your brain chew on that for just a second. We got it?
The answer, of course, is queen. Now that feels pretty easy, but what your brain just did was anything but simple. That calculation was lightning fast and honestly unbelievably sophisticated. It just performed some serious mental acrobatics, navigating this vast, invisible map of ideas to find the perfect answer. So, how on earth does it do that? Well, it all comes down to what we call your web of meaning. This is the fundamental structure that organizes absolutely everything you know, from what you had for breakfast to the deepest philosophical questions. The technical term for this is a semantic network, and I want you to stop thinking of your brain like a dictionary and start thinking of it more like a personal Wikipedia. Every single idea is a page linked to countless others. See, it's those connections between ideas, not just the ideas themselves, that create real understanding. And this is exactly why that structure is so powerful. I mean, imagine if your brain stored everything in just one long list. Finding anything would be a total nightmare. Slow, clunky, inefficient. But because it's a network, it's fast, it's contextual, and it's just brilliantly smart. So what does this mental map actually look like? What are the rules of this internal universe? Well, researchers have been digging in, and they've discovered some really fascinating properties. So it turns out our minds are a small world. You know that whole 6 degrees of separation idea, where you're supposedly connected to anyone on Earth through just a few people? The exact same thing applies here, but with ideas. Any two concepts in your head, no matter how unrelated they seem, are probably connected by just a handful of mental steps. And this brings us to a really key idea: semantic distance. It's basically just the number of steps between two concepts. So coffee and cup, super short distance, they're neighbors. But coffee and galaxy, that's a much, much longer trip. And this distance is precisely how your brain calculates relevance in the blink of an eye. But wait, it gets even cooler. Because this web isn't flat. No, it's what's called a multiplex network. Think of it like a building with different floors. For just one idea, like rose, you've got a floor for how it sounds, another for what it means, love, flowers, and another for how you spell it. And they're all interconnected. Okay, all this talk about maps and webs sounds a bit abstract, right? But here's the kicker. This isn't just a metaphor. This is a biological, physical reality happening inside your skull right now.
That's right. This is straight out of science fiction. Using brain imaging tech, scientists can literally look at the activity in your brain and tell what category of thing you're thinking about, like if it's a tool or an animal. They are watching the activation patterns light up on your own personal semantic map.
So how does the brain actually pull this off? Well, one of the leading theories is called the tensor brain. The idea is basically that there's a two-layer system. You've got a symbolic layer that's like a label maker. It holds the what, the word apple, and then you've got a sub-symbolic layer that holds the how, what an apple looks like, feels like, tastes like. Together, they create this incredibly rich mental canvas.
Now, this amazing web isn't something you're just born with. No way. It's a living, breathing thing that grows and rewires itself every single second, starting from the moment you're born. And you can really see this happening in childhood. When a toddler is just starting to talk, their network is pretty sparse, just a few lonely dots. But as they start learning more and more, the density just explodes. Those dots start connecting, forming this rich, complex, and deeply interconnected web of understanding. So, how does this growth happen physically? The mechanism has a name: criterial causation, and it's profound. Every single time you learn something new, every experience you have, it causes the physical connections between your neurons to either get stronger or weaker. Learning isn't just some abstract thing. You are physically rewiring and sculpting your own brain every day. And what's so incredible about this constant rewiring is that the brain is essentially building a memory of its own history into its current structure. It remembers which connections led to a good outcome, and it strengthens them. This is how it gets better and faster at making predictions about the future. Okay, now we get to what is, for me, the most mind-bending part of this whole thing. How does the brain manage all of this complexity? And how does it actually get better at learning over time? This quote says it all. This is the whole idea behind what are called self-modeling networks. Think about this for a second. Your brain isn't just making a map of the outside world. It's so advanced, it's also making a map of itself. It's this ability to self-reflect, this metacognition, that allows us to think about our own thinking and get better at the process of learning itself.
So let's wrap this all up. What's the big takeaway? It's that true knowledge isn't about collecting facts like stamps. It's about building a rich, dense, and flexible web of meaning. It's knowing that every single thing you learn physically changes you. And it's appreciating that your brain has this unbelievable power to watch itself work just so it can get better at its own job.
And that brings me to a final question I want to leave you with. If our minds are in this constant state of remodeling, always growing and changing with every new experience, what does it really mean to master something? Is mastery even a destination you can arrive at? Or is it simply the lifelong process of building a better, more connected map?